Switching gears here, on nuclear, the Saskatchewan government continues to demonstrate it is clearly intent on going all in on nuclear. I attended a Westinghouse event in November in Saskatoon where they spoke of the possibility of micro reactors, small reactors, and 1,200 megawatt large reactors. Now, I hadn't realized that SaskPower had signed an MOU in the summer of 23 with Westinghouse, and it was right around the time you started, hinting about 1,000 megawatt reactors. So kind of clued in. Oh, that's where it came from. Can you provide an update of where we are on all three of these fronts?
Well, I think a couple of things, and it won't be, it'll be a little bit vague of an update because I think the priorities as we look ahead and just take this to the very high level of the power we need today versus the power we're going to need in 5, 10, and 15 years. And it's going to increase. We need more. And that's true across the board. And if we continue to attract, investment in the mining industry, and who knows where the data server conversation will go, we're going to need more power tomorrow probably substantially more power tomorrow than we have today. Which means the existing assets we have, we need to look at not only running them out throughout their lifespan, but can we eke and squeak some additional lifespan out of our existing assets, including our coal assets. The focus moving forward is really threefold, and it needs to be in this order. The reliability of our power grid is number one. The affordability of our power grid is number two. And then as we find our way through time, we'll lower the emissions in how we're generating power here in this province. And so it has to be in that order. And if you put the sustainability of the grid first, you're going to sacrifice your reliability and you're going to sacrifice your affordability. And so we need affordable power in order for us to attract the investments that we are. And for the people that live here, we need reliable power if we're going to continue to attract and operate the investments that are using significant amounts of power in this province, whether that be in the energy industry, the mining industry, whether it be in the processing industry, or you as I as residents. And then in last, but certainly not least, as we find our way through the next number of decades, we do need to lower the emissions footprint that we have. Industry is asking for it. People are asking for it, but not at the expense of the reliability and affordability of your grid. So that's a little different and a little more direct than maybe we've been in the last number of years, but it needs to be that way as we build out our capacity.
In May, you came to Estevan and said we're going to keep burning coal until nuclear is ready. That will be well past the 2030 deadline that the federal government has imposed. And actually, that was brought in under the Conservatives, if I recall.
It was either that or a 50-year lifespan.
Yeah, for a 50-year lifespan. How are we going to get around those rules? Are we going to put the maintenance money into our coal plants to keep them going to that point?
Those are questions that are being asked right now. They're a significant asset, and they're an asset that if I go back to reliable, affordable power, our coal assets fit very well in the first two. So,
are you just basically going to tell the feds, sorry, we can't do it, we're not shutting them down?
Well, we'll be dealing with a different federal government by that time. And we're going to, have those conversations with respect to those very metrics that I discussed. We need to ensure we have a reliable power grid. We need to ensure we have an affordable power grid. But it's also a power grid that we're investing in lowering the emissions profile through time. That's what we're going to do. And if the federal government is, feels that Saskatchewan is offside in this space, well, we'll have to have that discussion as well at that point in time. But we're going to do what we're going to do.
So you got a new minister to get hauled off in chains in?
Mm-hmm.
Why did the province feel the need to provide a $100 million loan guarantee to the several First Nations for the Weyburn Wind project, being that their partner is Enbridge, one of the largest companies in Canada?
Yeah.
Why put public dollars at risk?
It's about, participating in the economy. And when you look, across the province, and this is maybe a higher percentage of that, but when you look across the province, we're about, 17% Indigenous, self-identified Indigenous people in the province. And when you look at the investments that are coming into, many areas in Saskatchewan, it only stands to reason that they should have an opportunity to invest in the capital assets and in the actual business goings on. This particular project, and we were asked by Enbridge, is there an opportunity for this to occur? We had came forward with a number of years ago with the Indigenous Finance Corporation to look at, underwriting some of these opportunities, which should be of low, if any, net cost to the government because they would be loans that are paid back. But providing Indigenous folks as part of our steps in reconciliation to actually actively participate financially in, in a minority stake in significant projects in the province. We have another one, not that has been underwritten by the Indigenous Finance Corporation, but has a partnership in an OSB plant in the Prince Albert area as well that has a number of First Nations communities that are in partnership at the ownership level of that particular plant. This is I think a positive for Saskatchewan, a positive for reconciliation and Indigenous communities and Indigenous people. I think it's also a sign and a function of us just moving forward in that entire conversation.
So touching on the reconciliation argument, why is there an absolute requirement for Indigenous ownership, at least partial ownership, in any new wind or solar project of grid scale in Saskatchewan?
For that very reason, I don't think there'd be a requirement on the percentage, but there'd be a requirement to include the opportunity for Indigenous folks to invest in that asset that often is in the territory in which they've inhabited since they've been there. And so, again, these are just steps to really portray the importance of including Indigenous people with that opportunity to invest in these types of projects when companies and investments are being made.